welcome to this month's book review. Alright, so I was asked to give a book recommendation for basically working with energy, breath work, and things like that. And quite honestly, the best book I can think of is the one I wrote, which is The Black Crow. So that's the one I want to talk about today. But you know, these kind of go hand in hand, so I just wanted to show you both to begin with. The Reality of Things is the first book I wrote. This was kind of originally created for beginners to find a path. So it goes into various things regarding magic and different traditions and paths and such. It discusses various concepts in the beginning, which is about creation time, things like that. Perception shifts, abracadabra, the power within. 5 points is about the pentagram, 6 points is about the hexagram, so we examine those from different perspectives. Centers and cauldrons is very much in regards to the cauldrons of Posey, so druidic, Celtic, stuff like that. And then we have a brief look at some circle casting creations. We have a look at the Wiccan circle, we have a look at the LBRP, and then the traditional compass round. So you've got your ceremonial magic, your Wiccan or your neo-pagan, and then your traditional. So it's a brief look. The Witch's Foot, which is traditional witchcraft, and then just some extra bits, examination of the words Wicca, witch, and pagan. Having a look at Satanism and Left Hand Path, Aquatic Spirits. So thought forms, spirit guides, the fetch. So all of various concepts from different perspectives. And as I said, we kind of go through neo-paganism, traditional witchcraft, ceremonial magic, and examine things from these different perspectives. And the idea was that whatever the reader is drawn to, whatever path the reader is drawn to as they're going through these various perspectives, would then be kind of a starting point, a break-off point to go and examine a path that they actually enjoy. So that's what this book was about. Then following on from that was The Black Crow. So The Black Crow, if I just go to the back here, the first stage in spiritual alchemy is represented by the Black Crow. It's Nigredo. It's representative of the awakening, the sleeping man. So this book itself goes through a lot of different rituals, but it builds on itself. It's kind of a course book, really, but it really does focus on the idea of stillness, bringing stillness into our practice, into our lives, through meditation, through various workings and acts which we can do to bring that stillness, to quiet the mind, so that we can then move forward with power. But it goes into various rituals. A star ruby from Crowley goes into an active meditation, which is what I was taught in practical Kabbalah. Moving meditation is about walking and using meditation whilst you are actually in motion, walking, doing qigong and things like that. We then go into breathing exercises, and then we have a look at the Kabbalistic cross and the Kabbalistic sacred space. This is an examination of basically the Kabbalistic cross, which you find with the LBRP and the LBRP, but this is a method I was taught in practical Kabbalah, and I found it a lot more powerful, or a lot more filled with energy. And I'm going to say powerful. It feels more powerful to me anyway than the LBRP itself. We go into concentration exercises. We have a look at some various concepts again as well, oaths and bonds. We go into visualization exercises. We have a look at the concept of initiation and the beginning of paths. And then we go into sigil magic, so it's introduction into how to actually use magic, how to use these concepts of bringing yourself into stillness, the various meditation methods and the breathing exercises, you can then bring into your magic. So we have a look at sigil magic and working with sigils. It's how to create them and actually work with them, how to activate them and such. Then we have a look at the concept of the soul from various different perspectives. We then go into protection exercises, self-creation, and suggested practice outline, which is kind of giving you an outline. Let's actually go there. Exercise outline. So it kind of gives you an idea of what to practice for what period of time. So you practice one thing for a month or 2 months just to get a good idea, a good foundation in that practice itself. Going into the practicing the complete breath from the breathing chapter, and then go into the exercise of concentration and visualization. So it kind of builds on itself, gives you that outline, the actual exercise of the exercises themselves. So yeah, this I found was very good in terms of doing energy work and doing breathing exercises. The protection itself, I go into a variety of different things. What is interesting is this Kanya from Practical Kabbalah. You basically repeat each line. Each line refers to a different level of the self, of the soul parts, and you kind of circle it down into your center. And eventually what happens is, as you keep repeating these phrases over and over again, they kind of keep circling down into your center, and they create their own momentum. It's a bit like mantra yoga in that regard, but it's a very potent, powerful method of protection. Something else I was going to show you just now I've forgotten. The soul part, we go into the various parts of the soul in regards to the 11 parts of the heathen perspective, and we have a look at the Ruach, the Nefesh, and the Neshama of the Kabbalistic. So it really is, again, an examination of different concepts from different perspectives. This is how to create the sigil, or working with the sigil. It has an examination of older methods of what we may consider as sigil creation. Let's have a look. On initiation, it also has a look at shamanic death, and then the exercise, visualization exercises which you can do, an examination of the oaths and bonds, which is tying your will into the well of weird. So oaths and bonds, promises and things you should take very seriously. Concentration exercises. I'm going backwards through the book, I know. This is the Kabbalistic Sacred Space, and what we do, there is an examination of the vowels that are used to make up the ineffable name Yod He Vav He, which is Yahweh, and how that's used in order to create sacred space. It goes a little bit further as well. After you've created the sacred space, and this is very much again in regards to a relationship with the LBRP. You end with in the name of you end with the Hebrew, but in translation it's in the name of Infinite One, power of God wrestler, before me Raphael, and behind me Javriel, to my left Michael, and to my right Uriel, and above my head is the feminine presence of the power. So very similar to the LBRP, where before me Raphael, behind me Javriel, to my left Michael, to my right Uriel, depending on which hemisphere you're in. Around me flames the pentagram, within the column shines the six-rayed star. So very much very similar to that. But I go a bit further then and have a look at once you've created the sacred space, you then need to define the working space. And this is a Hine Ni chant, which you stomp in a circle. And this comes very much from Rabbi Gershon Winkler's book. I have forgotten the name now. I thought it might be in here. It's probably in here somewhere. I'm sure I mentioned it. Because the sources of things are found within the chapters, not at the end of the book. Anyway, it's in there somewhere. I remember it being there. Okay, so the crossing ritual itself, the Kabbalistic cross, what I've done is I have kind of given it from the perspective of how it's done in the Kabbalistic, in the LBRP. But the method I was taught also employs the shadow body and the cosmic cross, so it examines those and how that's actually formed into the Kabbalistic cross. So yeah, breathing exercises. Well, this isn't really exercises, it's just about breathing. Simple, basic, straightforward breathing, and it gives you the complete breath, which is, I find, quite important. But what I've also done, you'll find that there are smaller books which extend from this one. I was going to rewrite this whole book, but as I was doing it, it was becoming so large that it would have been impractical. So what I did, I extracted, for instance, going back to the chapter contents, I've extracted stillness, meditation, moving meditation, and breathing, and put that into a book and then extended it. So with the breathing, for instance, there's an 8-week program just on breathing techniques and breathing exercises. So that extends on that. Then what I've also done, I took all the various, the Star Ruby, the Kabbalistic cross, and also the LBRP, and extended that again. I added in some chaos magic there, and a banishing rite that I actually created, which is at the end of that book, and again put that into a smaller book. So they're kind of extensions of the extended series of this book itself. So, you know, this is a great book to have because it has all the various things in it which you can work through. And then if you want to examine meditation and breathwork further, then you've got the extended book, which is the meditation and breathwork one is $2.50. It's a short book, but obviously, as I said, you know, that then repeats some of these chapters, but also extends on it, gives more information, gives you a whole 8-week program of breathing, which isn't in this book. So yes, that's the Black Crow. If you like that, it's available in paperback like this on my Lulu store, and it's also available as an ebook on my website, which you can purchase and download immediately. You'll also find the ebooks on Scribd if you are a Scribd subscriber, Scribd member. I think it's member. I think that's what we call it. Scribd member. You'll find my books on there. Just have a look for Lee Red Oak Johnson in Scribd, and you should find my page. All my books are in there. The extended books from this one, the meditation and breathwork and the banishing rites, are not in paperback. They're only in ebook because they're so short. It was impractical to make them into a paperback book. Alright, so I've put all the links in the description below to my website where you can find the Black Crow, and you'll obviously find the other books there as well. Okay, so that's it for this month, and have a great one. Cheers for now. Bye bye.